Will this $300 EDC fit your everyday needs? Let's find out. Before I get into it, I am not being paid by Microtech in any way. They don't sponsor me. They didn't give me this knife for free. I bought this with my own money. This is strictly just my own personal review on the knife and if this fits you or not. Now, with that being said and that out of the way, this is the Microtech Ultratech Gen 4. This is an OTF automatic designed for everyday utility with a tactical edge. This is not a hard-use pry bar, it's a precision cutting tool. Like I said in the beginning, this is a $300 knife. This is not for everybody. It's a little on the pricier side, however, there are reasons for it. If you love Microtech, you're going to be okay with the price because you're going to understand that $300 is pretty fair for a Microtech. This is not for your hard construction blue-collar worker. This is meant for someone who's doing easy menial, cutting tape, cutting cardboard type of tasks. Now, when you pay for something like this, that's $300, you're paying for machining, tolerances, and consistency. You're not paying for a magical knife. Getting into size, you have a lot of area to grab. However, the biggest issue that I've noticed is if you're grabbing this really hard, the switch will get in the way. However, that's just by design. It's contoured very well on the sides. It's got angles that really fit your hand, honestly, truthfully, very well. It's definitely a little back heavy. That's because that's where the whole mechanism sits, is right around down here. It does go up the sides as well, but it primarily sits down here, so it's a little bit back heavy, but honestly, when it's in your pocket, you hardly notice it. Now, the pocket clip, I've noticed some issues with this ball here. I thought it would make it easier going in and out of your pocket. Not as much as you think. The thing is, though, as soon as it's in your pocket, you seriously do not notice it's there. If you ever want to take it apart, you have 4 body screws here and then 1 big screw down here. I can't quite figure out how big it is. I'll have all the information on screen. The overall fit and finish on this is super impressive. It's consistent every time, which is why you buy an OTF or an automatic. It feels great in the hand and feels even better in your pocket. Overall, I really like the slim configuration and how it feels in the hand. If you want a slimmer knife that you can barely notice in your pocket, this is definitely one to go for. Now, we can talk handle material all day long, but how well does it actually cut? This is considered a drop point style blade, and it is probably one of the best pocket knife utility blades for slicing and penetrating. It has a very nice flat grind, so you're not having to put in any extra work for it to slice. Now, one thing that's super important to me is how does the edge come from factory? So I got a little piece of paper here. I haven't sharpened this yet. I haven't carried this too much. I've carried other OTFs before. So let's test and see how well Microtech sharpens their knives before you get them. Not horrible. It's not the cleanest slice, if you can see there. But it's not bad. I've definitely seen way worse. This blade steel is M390. M390 is great for small menial tasks. If you're using it to just cut paper and tape and maybe not cardboard so much, but specifically paper and tape and just smaller tasks, maybe even food prep, it's going to stay sharp for a long time. If you're a fisherman, you're going to love this. If it's around water, you're not going to have to worry about corrosion as much, especially with that black coating on the blade. Overall, I think the fit and finish of the blade and the blade steel is pretty well exactly what you need it to be. I don't really have any complaints. It's a thinner blade. Like I said in the beginning, it's not a pry bar, so if you need something that's built more tough, then this might not be the knife for you, but if you're just doing small menial tasks, I would highly recommend it when it comes to this blade style, shape, and overall steel. Now, the deployment of the blade is very nice and very easy. The switch feels super smooth. It's easy to manipulate it. You can go back and forth. I'll stop. That's probably annoying. But it is really nice to just fidget with and also play with. So if you also want like a $300 fidget toy, I guess you can do that. I haven't had any misfires with this. I do play with it a lot. The action feels super nice. One big problem that I've noticed with it is the Microtech Ultratech Gen 4 specifically runs on a dual rail system. Which is a good and a bad thing at the same time. The problem is that it relies on tighter tolerances, right? So it's not going to be as tolerant to like dirt, dust, and debris. So you have to make sure that you're cleaning these very often. I will make a video shortly on how to clean these in the proper way without gumming up the internals. So if you're working around dust, dirt, and debris a lot, either plan to clean this often or maybe just go more towards a normal thumb stud folder versus an actual OTF. Just because if you don't want to be maintaining and cleaning your knife all the time, I wouldn't recommend an OTF. Anyone for that matter. It doesn't matter if it's this knife or if it's another OTF. Um, that's the OTF's biggest weak point is dust, dirt, and debris getting in and ruining those springs. But overall, like I said, the button feels great. I haven't had any misfires with it so far. Sometimes in temperature changes as well, you'll hear the spring at the bottom. That can get kind of alerting. Don't stress. It's just the temperature of the metal expanding and contracting, so it's going to make a little bit of a weirder noise. Overall, though, the action truthfully is great, in my opinion. The biggest thing, if you're looking to compare an OTF to a normal folding knife, strictly you're trading convenience for pure strength, right? So just keep that in mind when you're looking for an OTF or a folding knife like this one. Now, I've mentioned it a little bit, but what does this knife actually excel at? I mentioned cutting boxes and cutting paper. Another good thing would be like zip ties or food prep, just more lighter cut things. With the thinner blade steel, you are going to dull the knife a lot faster if you're doing harder cut stuff, right? So if you're doing, like if you're deciding to whittle because you're outside or prying with it or anything amongst that category, you're either going to be sharpening a whole lot or you're going to straight up break the OTF. So try and keep the OTF to more of simpler tasks. You can do simple food prep, for softer stuff like meat. Meat would be fine. Like I said, tape, boxes, breaking zip ties, it would be fine. It's with that nice thin and slender blade. It's really good for just straight slicing. A drop point is really good at penetrating. It's not the best at penetrating, but it's fairly decent. However, with an OTF, I wouldn't penetrate something hard like wood, so I wouldn't try and go and make a hole into a log to try and, build a bed of some kind, if that's something you're into. So I would try avoiding drilling at all. That's just not what an OTF's made for. The tolerances can't handle it. Now, if I honestly look at this knife, it's $300. Would I buy this? Now, obviously I did, right? Because I have it. But would I honestly buy this? It really depends if it fits you or not. When it comes to the action, the full execution of the handle, the pocket clip, how easy it is to deploy, I honestly would say that this is worth the $300 for the right person. Because if you're doing stronger brute force tasks, you're going to break this and it's going to feel like you threw $300 away. If you're doing small cutting tasks, and you want something that looks good, feels good, and is going to last you the next 50 years, then the Microtech Ultratech is going to do exactly that. Now, this is the Gen 4. All the other models are good as well. So if you can find one, you can also go that route instead of getting the Ultratech Gen 4 specifically. Another big thing is make sure that autos are legal in your state. If they're not, you can get in a lot of trouble. It is legal where I live, so that is very nice. Let's see, what else is there to talk about? Like I said, maintenance, dust and debris. You're going to get dust and debris from your pockets alone. So make sure you're cleaning and maintaining this. Like I said, I will make a video eventually talking about how to clean and maintain your OTF to make sure that it stays nice and snappy. I really think that's it. Any other questions, just leave them down in the comments. If anything above that I mentioned to you bothers you, I wouldn't buy this. Truthfully, I wouldn't. I would just go get a normal folder, something that maybe you don't have to maintenance as much, something you plan on doing with more, like I said, more brute force tasks. This knife is great for the right people. Now, if you're watching this video and you're like, yeah, no, this knife isn't really something for me, seriously consider a folder. They don't require as much maintenance. The only thing you have to worry about weak point wise is the pivot, and they can handle a lot more abuse. You can see that this is M390 as well. I have plenty of other options. This is just the one that I grabbed. But definitely get something that's folding. You have less to rely on, less moving parts. My uncle always said more moving parts is just more places to fail. So if you need something that you don't want failing on you, get something that folds instead. This knife might be right for you if you're doing light cutting tasks, or you're a knife collector, or just someone who wants value and convenience over brute strength. To be 100% honest, this knife isn't the strongest one you can buy, but it is one of the most convenient. I mean, being able to open and close it with the click of a button is so convenient. If you're just doing stuff around the house, it fits in your pocket. It's not very large. It's, I mean, definitely on the bigger side, but it's smaller. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to be working on more of these honest knife reviews. I'm going to call them no BS knife reviews. Right now I'm a little shaky. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do it, so bear with me as I'm starting this new form of content. But this was the first knife of many, so you can count this as number one. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments below. And thank you so much for considering this OTF as your possible next EDC carry. Talk to you guys later.